Hello and welcome to Writing America, Pages and People. If you're here to learn about an American author and some of their works, then you're in the right place. My name is Rachel Rigolino and I'm an instructor in the English department at the State University of New York at New Paltz. So come on, we'll watch this video and leave some comments below.
Unfortunately, until fairly recently, Angelina Weld Grimké was often regarded as a literary footnote, situated somewhere between the writers of the 19th century, the kind of genteel tradition of poets, and those of the Harlem Renaissance. In fact, there's even some confusion among people sometimes. They mistake her for her great aunt, Angelina Grimké Weld, a great abolitionist after whom she was named. Grimké's body of work was modest, and she did not actively seek to establish herself as a prominent literary figure. Her play Rachel, which appeared in 1920, is something that was well known at the time and people recognized. But her true passion and dedication were really directed towards her poetry, and critics often say that her finest pieces are just extraordinary. So who was she? Angelina Weld Grimké was born in Boston in 1880. She was the member of a distinguished biracial family, and some of the members of which, the Grimkes, they were important in the abolitionist movement and also very active in civil rights into the 20th century. Grimké's relationship with her father was extremely close, and she really lived quite a privileged life while growing up. She attended the prestigious progressive school, the Boston Normal School, from which she graduated in 1902. And then that same year, she began teaching English in Washington, D.C. From 1960 onwards, she became a faculty member at the Dunbar High School in D.C. And then during the summer, she took courses at Harvard. During this time in Washington, Grimké produced some of her more renowned writings. She was part of a vibrant community of Black artists, writers, and scholars. She'd been writing since her youth, although only a small portion of her work was published during her lifetime. And she published many of her pieces in the well-known publications, The Crisis and Opportunity magazines. Her poetry, though, did gain some real recognition in the 1920s when it was introduced into anthologies that had been edited by Alain Locke, for example. But despite these achievements, at the time of Grimké's death in 1958, the majority of her work remained unpublished. And commentators like Gloria T. Hull, who was a pioneer in the field of Black American women writers, suggests that her writing career was not actively pursued due in part to some of the emotional struggles that she had. According to Hull, Angelina Weld Grimké's struggles really had to do much of it with her sexual identity. She was a closeted lesbian. So that did have an impact on, the way that she was able to get published and being out in the world. In terms of her style and subject matter, Grimké's poetry shares similarities with the works of other Black poets such as Jessie Redmond Fawcett, Anne Spencer, Gloria Douglas Johnson, and Count A. Cullen. These poets, interestingly enough, often kind of veered away from racial themes and certainly veered away from using dialect. And instead, they embraced subjects associated with a kind of refined literary tradition, of that 19th century. And Grimké appears, as critics have pointed out, to have drawn more influence from the Romantic poets, the Victorian poets, and even Edwardian writers, rather than her peers in New York and Washington, in the 1920s. Grimké was regarded by the Harlem Renaissance critic Alain Locke as a notable figure who really bridged that gap between the old and the new, between the 19th and early 20th century. Her contributions showcased her adherence to the English literary tradition while adding some diversity in terms of her point of view. Her keen observations, he said, of nature, for example, allowed her to evoke vivid and often exquisite images, which she skillfully intertwined with colorful expressions to convey personal emotions. Poet Sterling Brown commended her, quote, carefully worded free verse, and today Grimké's works are being more anthologized, allowing a new generation of readers to appreciate her talent.